Dear learners, I am Christina Georgy, your academic counselor for the course code BEGC-133, which is titled British Literature. So before proceeding further, let me remind you that this is a specialized session specifically designed for the BAG learners, that is the BAG second year learners. Hence, all the aspects discussed here will be solely based on or limited to the prescribed syllabus and study material for BEGC 133, that is British Literature. As per the requests of some of our learners, I will be recording this session. Firstly, we saw passage questions, later we saw short note questions, and now question 3 deals with short essays. Okay, now here the word limit specified is 200. So it should be double the length of your short note. Okay, let me once again remind you, it is not the length that matters, it is the content that matters. Unless you have written the relevant points, you won't be able to score well. Okay, there lies the challenge. So you just have to write 2 questions out of the 3 questions given. That is, you can leave 1 question and choose any 2. How many marks? 12 marks each. Okay. So 12 into 2 gives you 24. Now let's have a look at the questions. Question number 11. Write a note on the characters in Far From the Madding Crowd and show how together they create a picture of rural English society of the 19th century. Don't you worry, it's a straight question from block 2. This falls under the section character analysis. You may refer to unit 8 titled Far From the Madding Crowd Critical Analysis. This belongs to block 2. And there you may find the relevant answers. Now moving on to question 12. Discuss the central themes of Tennyson's poem Morte and comment on its allegorical significance. So it's very obvious that this is a question based on Tennyson's poem. You could find this answer as part of unit 15. Section 4.2 Allegorical Significance. But I have this question, would you just limit your answer to section 15.4.2? Of course you shouldn't, because this is a short essay of a minimum of 2 pages, actually 2.5 plus. So you'll have to frame a clear-cut introduction, core paragraphs and conclusion. That should be how you should frame a short essay question. So as part of the introduction, you could write about the Victorian era. Thereafter, you could move on to the Victorian poets and you can mention Alfred Tennyson, his life and works. Only then should you move on to Morte d'Arthur and a brief introduction to this particular work. And as part of the third or maybe second paragraph, you could actually mention, as part of the third paragraph, you could focus on the allegorical significance. So it could be third and fourth paragraphs, and you may also add some critical comments to it, and finally you need to conclude with a suitable conclusion. This is how you write a short essay answer. Same will be the case with all the other questions that falls under this question type, short essays. Let's have a look at the last question. Question number 13. Class distinctions and mobility between classes are significant concerns of the play Arms and the Man. Discuss. It's also a straight question. It's from Arms and the Man. So firstly you will have to give an introduction to George Bernard Shaw, his life and works, and thereafter you will move on to Arms and the Man. As part of your second paragraph, you will give an introduction to this play. You will mention all the relevant works. I have detailedly mentioned how to write this answer when I took the sessions. Okay, once you listen to that, you will get clear-cut clarity. And as part of the third paragraph, you could actually focus on the class distinctions and mobility. If you need the page number, just give me 1 minute. So this falls under Unit 12, Section 7. There is the separate section titled Class Distinctions in the Play. Okay. So those points would frame your third or fourth paragraph, and finally you could give some critical comments and conclude with a suitable conclusion. So this is how you attempt a short essay with respect to this course code. Is that clear? Chat box in any questions? എന്തെങ്കിലും റെസ്പോൺസ് തരാവോ, or else I feel like നെറ്റ് പോയതാണ്. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. ബാക്കി ആരും എന്താ മിണ്ടാത്തത്? Is there any problem? കുഴപ്പമൊന്നുമില്ലല്ലോ, ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ. Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll finish this off. Moving on to the last question, or the fourth question. So question number 4 would definitely be a long essay. So the word limit mentioned is 300 words. And you are writing this essay for 20 marks. So you'll be writing for around 5 pages. My humble suggestion is not to write in a very big font. That would actually negatively affect you. Okay, a normal font would be great. And do not leave unnecessary spaces and blank pages, for I suppose you are aware of the fact that you will be provided just one answer booklet. And just because you are second year students, I am not explaining everything related to that. That is, you can write for around 26 pages, and hence you will have to frame your answers accordingly. But trust me, within these pages itself you will be able to finish off this paper, because your lengthiest answer would be just one essay for around 5 pages. Then you will be writing 2 short essays together, 5 pages, total of 10 pages. Then you have around 4 short essays for around 1.5 pages, around 6 pages, 16, and you just have around 4 pages for the first question passages. So you would be writing for just around 20 pages. So keep this in mind, that you have enough and more pages, but do not waste or cut off pages unnecessarily. Alright, now let's focus our attention towards the very last question, the most crucial question, that is the essay question, the long essay question. So question 14 has choices, in the sense it's a optional question. Either you could choose the first set of question or the second set of question. Okay, you don't have to write both, or is given there. The first set deals with a question on Macbeth. Lady Macbeth is often called the fourth witch in the play Macbeth. Do you agree with this view? Give your opinions on the role of Lady Macbeth in this play. So if you remember our last session together, I told you that Lady Macbeth is often called the fourth witch in the play. Do you remember that? I suppose you do. So that is also detailedly mentioned in our study material. Unit 4, Section 6.2. There is this mention, the case of Lady Macbeth. There you can find the detailed analysis on the character of Lady Macbeth. Remember to mention the criticism of Terry Eagleton too. Alright? Yeah. So once you get an essay question, a long essay question, make sure that you frame a proper introduction, divide your answers into paragraphs, be organized, make sure that you write all the relevant points. I can help you with this. For example, you'll begin your introduction with a mention on the playwright. Who would be the playwright involved here? Obviously Shakespeare. So you'll give an introduction to Shakespeare and also the Elizabethan era, Elizabethan theatre, the life and works of William Shakespeare. Do not forget to mention the 4 major tragedies. I remember teaching you the acronym HOKM, Hamlet, Othello, King Lear and Macbeth. And thereafter you can give an introduction to the play Macbeth. Mention all the relevant stuff. Do not mention unnecessary stuff. For you shouldn't write for more than 5 or 6 pages. Alright. Now as part of your 3rd paragraph, maybe you can start mentioning Lady Macbeth in detail. The 4th or 5th paragraph would critically evaluate Lady Macbeth and you can conclude with an appropriate conclusion. Dear learners, always remember your exact answer would begin only when you mention the right point that is focused in your question. That is, these introductory paragraph wouldn't count much. Okay, what you write as part of the core content matters the most, because in some answer sheets people do like they write a detailed introduction. Maybe out of the 5 pages, 2 pages would be on Shakespeare. See, that wouldn't work. Your core pages should actually address Lady Macbeth. So that is the challenge involved there. I suppose you follow me. Moving on to the last question in your question paper. Explain why Arms and the Man is considered to be an anti-romantic comedy. A typical question from block 3. So, George Bernard Shaw and Arms and the Man. When you prepare for your TE, make sure that you study this particular question on anti-romantic comedy. So this is part of unit 11 of block 3. Under section 11.6 you have detailed explanation of Arms and the Man as an anti-romantic comedy. Alright. Just like the way I explained the other long essay question, you will have to start writing with a proper introduction, frame your paragraphs effectively and end with a suitable conclusion. Dear learners, make sure that you have attempted all the questions that are to be attempted. That is 4 out of 5 in case of question 1, 4 out of 5 in case of question 2, 2 out of 3 in case of question 3 and 1 out of 2 in case of question 4. My humble suggestion is not to write extra questions because that would be time consuming one. Secondly, that could also take up space in your answer booklet. For that matter, you need to choose those questions that you are confident about. That is, those questions that you know thoroughly you should be able to choose. And there would be this question in mind that should I actually choose the questions as per the order. See, there is no mandatory rule that the students should actually start writing in the same order, provided they put the correct question number. See, that is the problem that very often happens, that is the students would actually forget to put correct question numbers. Please be aware to put the correct question numbers if in case you are not following the same order. Okay, and there is this well-known secret that a good handwriting could actually help you while you attempt your TEE. And you know all the general stuff, that is, you need to be on time, you need to take your whole ticket, your IGNO ID card, all the stationery that you require, and it would be great if you could write on your own. Any malpractice, if identified, would land you in trouble. Okay, so you still have time, you can prepare. This is just one question paper, the recent one that I discussed with you, so that you get an idea of the question pattern, and this would certainly motivate you to prepare effectively for your upcoming TEE. As I mentioned, there is still time and you can do it. On that note of optimism, let me end my session today. So in this particular session, we looked at one of the previous question papers of BEGC-133. We discussed the question pattern in detail, and I also helped you out with the answers to these questions. I also helped you to understand how to go about these answers for your TEE. And I thank you so much for joining me.